Hey, it's Caitlin and Adam. To be our next guest on ENTA Ask, click the link below. Enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of ENTA Asks. I'm Adam Colazetti.
And I'm Caitlin Bullock.
And we are super excited to be hanging out on site at the Rocky Cross group of companies. And today with us, we have Lory Perizzolo, the COO, and Ryan Thelwell, the Director of Business Development. So guys, thanks so much for having us here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Excellent. So if you didn't check out our first episode, man, super powerful. You got to hear about the story of Ryan telling us his journey from NFL to CFL to disaster recovery. And today we're going to hear about Lory, the COO, Operational Officer, Chief Operational Officer here. And it wasn't either your dream passion to grow up into this, but you fell into it as well. So tell us how that happened.
Yeah, kind of similar in a sense, the way Ryan kicked it off last episode, where didn't really plan for it. Same kind of story for me. My career kind of took a little bit of a different path. I wasn't blessed with the 6'2" or 6'3", as he says, height in the books. But so at 5'9", I knew very quickly I wasn't destined for that sports.
But I hear you're fast and pretty good with a stick and a puck.
Yeah, I can play hockey. The B division of the men's league is great.
Okay.
So that was so it was my path. I kind of for a lot of my insurance. Friends out there, they'll kind of understand the term. Kind of fell into it.
Yeah,
and that was kind of my path. I'm kind of your standard story of starting as a telephone adjuster at one of the national insurance companies. But before that, it's ironic because I started my career in construction.
Okay.
Went through high school, did a year at university, and I realized I wanted to kind of get out and work and make a few bucks and start paying my own bills.
So did you finish university, or you just did a year?
No, I did a year, and then I kind of wanted that classic break.
What did you go in for?
General studies.
Just general studies,
economics, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then I ended up growing up since I was 12 on weekends. I got drug out to the job sites. My dad was a tile setter and marble installer. And so I spent weekends and summers since I was 12 kind of learning that craft and that trade. So that led me into taking my apprenticeship after university in the tile and marble trade.
Okay.
Did my apprenticeship and started talking to friends that were just doing different things, and they were a couple of them were in the insurance industry working for insurance companies as underwriters and actuarial people.
Yep.
So it kind of sounded interesting, and having a couple of years here and there, I kind of understood that there's about 17,000 different paths you could take in the insurance industry. So I'd do my tile installing and apprenticeship during the day, and at nighttime I registered for the CIP program, which is the Chartered Insurance Professional designation, and started taking night classes and got the first course finished and put it on a resume and got hired by one of the insurance companies, and that started my path in insurance in 1998.
Excellent.
With the Royal and Sun Alliance Insurance Company.
Yeah.
And I spent years as a telephone adjuster, as a property field adjuster, and all sorts of things in between. And that led me into moving into different positions, managerial positions, team leadership positions, and ultimately vendor management positions, which is kind of like your traditional procurement and having vendor relationships and supply relationships. So that really got me interested, and my first insights into the restoration role.
Right, because those are the suppliers to you
That's
guys,
right?
Right.
That's right. So as suppliers now at Rocky Cross, we're the ones that actually fulfill the promise that the insurance companies are making for their premium paying customers.
Right.
It's
not like the insurance company has a construction company sitting up,
exactly.
Right? They come to you, right?
So it's kind of their fulfillment model, whether it's the auto body repair side or in our case, the property repair side. We're kind of the fulfillment mechanism to make things right after something really unexpected happens, like a fire or flood.
So what was the turning point where you're like, yeah, I'm going to jump over?
Yeah, so for me, I spent probably 7 or 8, probably maybe 9 years on the vendor management side for the insurance company side of the business, as Ryan mentioned earlier. And for me, what opened my eyes was that I was able to build a lot of relationships right across the country with different restoration providers, both large and small, national and local.
Mm-hmm.
So through those relationships, I could really see what they were fulfilling from my perspective as the insurance representative. So I really grew to appreciate what these guys are doing every day.
Right.
And I realized that, wow, this is an area where I could kind of dig my heels into and really feel like I had a more of an impact to fulfill what the insurance companies were trying to sell, right?
Right.
And that really, that's really powerful, right? Coming with that background, the systems and how the insurance world works. So when Rocky Cross comes for disaster recovery, you guys also know how to deal with the insurance companies in the right way at the right time to make sure it moves quickly, right?
Yeah, 100%. And Ryan's being really gracious with saying it was, a differentiator and kind of what was the term you used earlier? The edge.
The edge. Yeah.
I'm very humble. I don't kind of look at it that way, but I was able to. So my first dip into the insurance side of it was ironically with the same company Ryan broke into it.
Okay.
And I kind of went back to the insurance company, and when we had met before the interview, we had talked about me being a case of finding your way through the industry until you kind of got to take your diligence. So for me, I was able to get a position with DKI Canada in a senior leadership role.
Yeah.
And I was able to take all the learnings I had from the insurance side in terms of what would be customer expectations and what they're looking for from service providers, and apply it to this side of the business and kind of give us that edge to really deliver on the service better than anyone else. So from there, I spent 4 or 5 years with 2 or 3 years with DKI Canada. And started working closer with guys like Ryan and the owner of Rocky Cross, Alan Welton, and everyone in between. So I was really fortunate to get to be able to work locally with one of the DKI Canada members, and it really got me interested. And the opportunity came up, and I jumped at it. Didn't hesitate.
What made you? Was it the team? Was it the? Oh, it was Ryan.
It was Ryan. I catch the ball so well that I wanted to throw it.
Here's $20 right here.
I was just going to ask because I have seen some videos of Ryan and actually his buddy Sean, who interviewed with Calgary Contents, riding some little dinky horse things at the mall or whatever, right?
So I think they were hippos.
Hippos.
Can we get that cut in, please? I want to see that. Yeah.
See, that's why I love this. He puts up with us, right? What other boss would let you do that? But you get to ride around malls on these little electronic animals. So he gives us a lot of leeway and to be creative, right? So yeah, we have fun with that stuff.
Well, and one thing I found with getting to know you guys and the guys from Calgary Contents is you guys are dealing with some pretty heavy stuff, right? Property managers with whole buildings or houses with people's things, so you kind of have to take it a little lighter to balance that out.
Yeah, that's right, because we're the ones that are planning for the unexpected, if that makes sense, right? A lot of people, they go about their day, they go to work, they come home, they pick up the kids, and they don't expect to come home to the basement full of water or for their sewer to back up or for their kitchen to catch on fire overnight or whatever the case might be. So it's kind of that's when we really shine, and we're thankful to have excellent, skilled, caring crews in the back that are the first ones to respond and start to get people's lives back on track. So that was really a big draw for me when I got to start to work with guys like Ryan and the team here, that I got to see that promise in action, and to be able to help customers get back into back to that regular go to work, come home, pick up the kids, back into their routine. It's really fulfilling.
Because on the insurance side, you're probably just like, you see the paperwork stuff. You don't get to see the change you've made.
That's right. The perspective is really different. It's on the insurance company side, it was more about getting that call in, making sure you dispatch the right person out to it, and then you just see a series of paperwork coming in. You ultimately get something to pay, and away you go. But this is really, whether you're a service provider on the automobile side for insurance or the property side, like that, we're the ones that are there most often, along with the adjusters they assign or the cases, but we're the ones that are there every day, making sure that getting done right, and never repeating it. Yeah, exactly.
We're dealing with people's personal items, right? So it's important to them, so it's important to us, right? So we got to be delicate and just thoughtful with regards to going in. It's not, we don't look at it as just paperwork, right?
No, and you're right. We try and look at it from the standpoint. Treat it as if it's your own house.
Exactly.
What would you do if it was your house or your family's house? Right?
And one of the things that you guys do that I thought was really cool is, depending on who the client is, right, and their level of sophistication. So if you have a property manager that has a disaster recovery plan of some sort, or kind of is aware of some of the steps to take, and that's great, you'll work with them, but a lot of them don't. So you guys actually kind of help move them through the process.
Yeah, we are usually the last thing that somebody thinks about until water is pouring into their house at 2 in the morning. It really is that's what we see. So for us, I know with my role, it's important to work with the property managers let's be proactive. Let's put a plan in place before something happens, because it will happen. Yeah. Right? It might be a year from now.
Right. It's not it.
It's not if, it's when. Right? So I think 2013 really helped me because the flood, and I know we're gonna speak a little bit more about it. After the flood happened, people were a little bit more open to sit down and put that plan in place, because in the middle of the flood, they were calling restoration companies and they weren't answering their phones because they're also busy. Right? So it's just about getting out, being proactive, getting in front of them, letting them know, because a lot of them they think we just do water. There's so much more to what we do, right? So letting them know what else is out there, what we can do, what our job really encompasses, and then just making sure that they know our numbers, which we give out, our contacts, and just.
Well, even for the homeowner side, like I know for me, when I flooded my house because I filled up a dogfish and then went to work for 11 hours and didn't turn it off. They were not thirsty
that's pretty common, Kaylin. That's pretty common. Just so you know, we've seen worse, right? Yeah, you're not alone, right? Yeah.
It was a mom brain moment, guys. I was just coming back from that leave, so anyway, but like I didn't know what to do, right? And I'm like, freaking out. So you call and you don't know what to do and you don't know the process. And then when my husband accidentally didn't close one of the faucets and it started leaking, we knew exactly what to do. So we were actually more proactive the second time, and we didn't even need to make an insurance claim. We were able to get on top of it, clean it all up, and everything is that way. But until I lived it, right? So I can totally understand why 2013 was critical in getting people to say it's worth being proactive.
And we look at it this way, like if we see something on the horizon, we monitor what's going on, right? If we see something on the horizon, we're calling our clients, hey, heads up, like this is what we're seeing. Just know we're ready, right? Yeah. So that just all goes to being proactive. And you're right, like what you went through is something that we see, like that's an everyday occurrence for us, right? So don't feel bad. So
if my husband's listening, see, not the only one.
But you guys don't just do water damage. You guys do fire,
smoke, mold remediation and abatement, asbestos abatement. So another example besides an insurance claim is people might renovate a house in their city and it's aged past a certain year that they might not realize that there's asbestos containing. So we get involved with that. We get calls for that regularly to go and assess properties and help them, abate any of those types of hazards. We get involved with unfortunate situations like biohazard claims and trauma claims and that sort of thing. So those can be very, very emotional for both those working and occupants of the home. But we get involved.
What's a biohazard claim?
It could be a tenant in an occupied space that had a meth lab. That could be a marijuana grow up. Could be suicide. It could be any of those types of things that require specialized handling.
Yeah.
Materials.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys have some really interesting stories around that, and I'm super excited because next time we're going to get into some of those.
Yes. Right? Yeah, some of the big ones that we all remember, like the flood, the recent hail damage, right? And we're going to talk about, some of the things that most people don't really know go on at the back end of those things, right? So you guys get us into that, as well as the Fort McMurray fires, which we all remember. My husband was driving out of it, and there's flames 100 feet. It was scary. The pictures were scary. So I want to hear about how that goes from your side of the story. But if people want to get a hold of you, the insurance companies, property managers, people that want to work with just an amazing company like Rocky Cross, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, a few different ways. Again, we can reach through the website, www.rccn.ca, by email at claims@rccn.ca, or by phone, 403-252-2550.
All right, thanks. Check us next time.
We have a lot more great stuff for you, so stay tuned for the next episode to see what we learned.